Hello, I am the host of Real Independent Talk, and today we will be talking about how to start a medical transport business in Michigan without getting fined. With that out of the way, let's get started. Imagine this. You've got a reliable minivan in your driveway. You see your neighbors struggling to get to dialysis or physical therapy. You think, I can help them out and make a little extra money. Sounds like a win-win. You're helping people. You're building a business. Then 6 months later, you get pulled over, or you get a letter in the mail, and suddenly, in the eyes of the state of Michigan, you're not a helpful neighbor anymore. You're an unlicensed, uninsured, illegal limousine operator facing heavy fines and possible criminal charges. That's the reality of jumping into non-emergency medical transportation, NEMT, in Michigan without understanding the law. Here's the first shocker. Under the Limousine, Taxicab, and Transportation Network Company Act, most small NEMT vehicles, even a basic wheelchair van, are legally classified as limousines. Not stretch Hummers, not party buses, your Ford Transit or Dodge Caravan. If you're carrying passengers for hire in a vehicle with seating for 8 or fewer, and you're not operating through a rideshare app, the state generally treats you as a limousine carrier. That means you must register with the Michigan Department of Licensing and Regulatory Affairs, LARA. If you're not registered, you're operating illegally. A city business license isn't enough. Now here's the good news. Act 345 includes a preemption clause. Once you're properly registered with the state, cities and townships can't pile on extra licensing fees just because you cross their boundaries. But that protection only applies if you're actually compliant with the state law. No registration, no protection. Let's talk vehicles. If your vehicle is 5 years old or older, it requires an annual safety inspection by a licensed mechanic. Not your word, not it runs fine, paperwork. If you're moving into Medicaid work, the rules get stricter. The Michigan Department of Health and Human Services, MDHHS, and Medicaid brokers often won't accept vehicles older than about 10 years, sometimes newer, depending on the contract. Now the driver. Michigan law says if you carry passengers for hire, you typically need a chauffeur's license. Act 345 creates a narrow exemption for certain registered carriers, which confuses people. But here's the trap. If you step even slightly outside those definitions, you fall back under the General Motor Vehicle Code, and you're suddenly driving illegally. On top of that, insurance companies and Medicaid brokers usually require a chauffeur's license anyway. It costs a small fee and requires a basic test at the Secretary of State. Don't gamble your entire operation over a technical loophole. Now let's hit the big wall most people slam into: insurance. You cannot use personal auto insurance for NEMT. If you get into an accident while transporting a paying passenger and you're on a personal policy, the claim will likely be denied and you could be personally sued. Under Act 345, limousine carriers must carry a minimum $1 million combined single limit liability policy. That's $1 million covering bodily injury and property damage. In Michigan, commercial auto insurance for one van can easily run between $5,000 and $12,000 per year, depending on your profile. And you must prove this coverage to LARA before you can operate legally. If you want to bill Medicaid, the complexity multiplies. You must enroll through the CHAMP system, complete fingerprint background checks, and screen every employee against federal exclusion lists. If you hire a driver who's barred from participating in federal healthcare programs and you bill Medicaid for their rides, you're committing a federal crime. And that screening isn't one time, it's ongoing. Now let's talk about how you get clients. Paying for referrals, offering money or gift cards to a dialysis center for sending patients your way can violate anti-kickback laws. If government healthcare money is involved, that can rise to felony territory. Even for private pay, You can't just park outside hospitals and solicit rides without proper agreements. The handshake deal is often where businesses get destroyed. Signage matters too. If you're registered under Act 345, your company name and phone number generally must be displayed on both sides of the vehicle, visible from a distance. You may also need to display your registration number or keep documentation inside the vehicle. You can't operate as a ghost car. And here's the gray area people try to hide in. I'm just helping church members, and they give me gas money. The law hinges on transportation for hire. True cost sharing, splitting actual fuel expenses, is generally fine. But once you're charging a set fee or consistently making money beyond operating costs, you've crossed into commercial territory. Calling it a donation doesn't protect you. Insurance companies will look at transaction history. One more landmine: drug and alcohol compliance. Even though recreational marijuana is legal in Michigan, operating a vehicle for hire with drugs or alcohol in your system is not. Act 345 and many Medicaid contracts require zero tolerance. If a passenger reports that a driver smelled like marijuana, you must have a documented process to suspend and investigate immediately. No written policy? That's negligence. So here's the bottom line. NEMT in Michigan is not rideshare. It's not casual. It's not just getting rides. It is regulated transportation under Act 345. That means state registration, $1 million insurance, proper vehicle inspections, likely a chauffeur's license, Medicaid enrollment if you want government contracts, employee screening, signage compliance, and strict drug policies. These laws are not suggestions. They are the difference between running a legitimate business and facing fines, lawsuits, or criminal charges. If you're serious about this industry, read Act 345 yourself. Go to the LARA website. Go to MDHHS. Understand the framework before you spend money on a van. Do it right, or don't do it at all. Thanks for watching. If you found this helpful, be sure to like and subscribe, and drop any questions or comments below. I'll be happy to answer them. We release a new video every Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.